Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is a very special episode of Books and Beats. Number one, I'll be officially announcing the winners of the book giveaway. I'll also be sharing some of what's been going on the last 2 weeks, and then also a little mini podcast. So, before we go into anything else, I wanted to say congratulations to the two people who have selected to win. They've already been contacted. They already have their order numbers and tracking details for the book, which was Asata, an autobiography. And so the winners, who already know that they're winners, are Nolutando Stole and Nozugo Boni. And actually, I know Nozugo, aka Noni, and Nolutando is a new subscriber, so it felt really good to be sending books to someone that I know, but also to someone who's new, who is joining the community. So thank you so much, Noni and Nolutando, for supporting the channel and for entering the contest. It was a big confidence booster for me to have people commenting, even if it was 2 or 3 people, and watching my videos. I really appreciate the support and just the engagement. So thank you so much for that, and I hope you enjoy the books. Please definitely let me know once it arrives. Obviously, I can check the tracking number and know when it arrives, but it would be nice to hear back from you and also to know how the experience was of reading the book, because for me, it was a huge life-changing book, and I think every time I think about the experiences that Asata went through in detail, it empowers me to remember and to know that I can overcome anything. Right, so I'm excited about that portion, and I'm trying to think about what format the giveaways will take. Will it be every 7 episodes? Will it be once a month? Will it be once every 4 months? I don't know yet, but for now, once every 7 episodes feels like a good rhythm, but this is not me putting anything in stone. Right. The other thing that I wanted to share is a podcast that was actually an interview between Noni and Nagani. Usually I would do a book community spotlight and a mixtape of the week, but because this is a special episode, I'm just going to share bits and bobs that I've come across that are kind of related to what I'm talking about in this episode. And so this interview that Noni did with Nagani, or Nozuko did with Nagani, is such a, you know what it felt like? It felt like listening to 2 people get to know each other in a very organic way. Nagani was quite candid in this interview. Not that Nagani isn't in other interviews, but I found it very interesting, the stories about being excommunicated from religious communities and just the struggle of being a musician. Let me not say struggle, the process of bringing your music and your art into the world, and all the internal turmoil and courage it takes to bring that out into the world. And so it's a short listen, it's like 22 minutes, but I think it's definitely enlightening. And Nagani's book Piggy Boy Blues is definitely a book that I will be reviewing or talking about on this channel. So I think it's a nice precursor for at a later date when I eventually do have that conversation. But yeah, I'll put the link in the bio so you can, link in the description so you can listen to that when you have some time. Now, something else that's happened in between the last time we connected and now is that I've been dreaming on the Strand Books website, and I finally purchased something from there. It's getting colder, it's fall/autumn, and I'm really feeling the vibes. I'm actually quite excited about winter and fall. I think I'm really just living fully as a New Yorker now. It's been 4 years, going on 5, and I think I'm now starting to actually enjoy the changing of all the seasons. And so anyway, I bought myself this, I don't know if you can see properly. Yeah, this sweater. I'm also learning the difference between sweaters and jerseys and cardigans. I don't know all these differences. But yeah, Strand Books has this, they had a sale on their, what do you call the sweaters, the college style. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get myself one. It was 19 bucks or something like that, so that was very exciting. But yeah, that's the only updates I have that have to do with Books and Beats, but I feel like they're quite big updates, especially the winners announcement. The only other thing that I wanted to share was some reflections around how things have been the last 2 weeks. So I don't know if you know this, but once a year, also, by the way, as you know, I live in New York. The neighborhood is alive and well. So if you hear noises, just know it's just part of you know, the setup that I have going on here for now. So in any case, I used to study in Sweden at an organization or an institution or a program called the Youth Initiative Program. I studied there 10 years ago. It is so strange to think that it's been 10 years since I lived in Sweden and studied there. And connected with all the people that were there at the time. And so one of the things that I have done since leaving the Youth Initiative Program in Sweden is that I have returned to offer a course on the relationship between power, privilege, and oppression. And the course has taken different formats over the years. Was this the fourth time I've offered it or the fifth time? I can't remember. I think this is the fourth time I've offered it. The first 2 times I offered it in person. The first time I offered it with a friend of mine who I actually studied with 10 years ago at YIP. And then the second year I did it on my own in person. And then the third year I think I did it all 100% online. So last year during the pandemic. And it was very intense, but I also left completely depleted and exhausted, but I also left with this strong feeling that where there's a will, there's a way, and that you can actually communicate quite effectively through virtual communication platforms, because that was something that I had a question about, you know, and I was quite anxious about being able to drop the course in a way that resonated with the students or the participants, even though I wasn't there in person. So I learned that it's possible. And also just, I think I left with a resounding feeling of the power of education. And my mom has always told me this because she's been an educator for like 40 years or more. And she's always said to me that for her, the thing that she enjoys the most about teaching and that I've also observed is that you get to impart knowledge, and then that knowledge multiplies because the people who have taken it on board and received it and who it's impacted also then move on and do the same for others. And I think that's the most fulfilling thing about any type of teaching role or contributing or lecturing or imparting of knowledge role that I play. So that was really affirming. And so fast forward to this year, I was hoping to go in person to Sweden to offer the course, but then after a series of lots of documents, lots of conversations, lots of back and forth between US government, Swedish government, and myself, it got to a point where it looked like it just was not going to happen. And so I decided to redirect my energy from trying to make this visa process work and go over there and get all the documents to rather just focusing on zooming in on the curriculum and pivoting and creating it as a hybrid format where it's some asynchronous classes, asynchronous meaning happening at a different time to when it's initially being made. So example would be if I recorded a lecture and I submitted it to the participants, I obviously recorded it at a different time and they can all watch it at different times. So that would be what asynchronous would be. So asynchronous content and real-time engagement where I would join at 2 a.m. or like 2:30 a.m. in the morning New York time, so that I could be there for 9 a.m. Central European time. So it was quite a mix, but the best part of the process was that I got to work with 3 young people who were apprentices, but I'm gonna completely erase that because they were co-facilitators, and that's 100% the role that they filled. I think the most beautiful process was just for me realizing that the work of disseminating information, whatever that information is not solely on my shoulders. And I feel like sometimes I tend to get sucked into this feeling of like, oh my gosh, it's my job to communicate this, it's my job to get this message across. But I think just doing the process with 3 other people who I had come in contact with but didn't know very, very well, that it's possible to hand over. It's possible to design a curriculum and hand it over to someone else. And it was one of the most powerful, beautiful, joyful, as Lena would say, incredible experiences that I've had in a long time. And I think unbeknownst to me, what was happening during that week, which was still intense, and that week was not this past week but the previous week, is that I was developing new ways of working, firstly because I feel like I definitely need that, and I was also building trust that, I mean, not building, but increasing the trust that I had in the next generation of young people to do the work that's needed and actually do the work in a better way. And there was just something so empowering about not only believing that because I believe it, but seeing it in action and living it and supporting that dream that, you know, each generation can pass on information to the next generation and to trust that it will be done better than what you could have shaped it. You know, like the design that I had, the curriculum that I designed was enhanced by the fact that I had other people that I was working with who had different ways of viewing the world, different perspectives, and different ways of delivering the content. So it was a very enriching process. Definitely demanding, definitely intense, definitely stressful at times and strenuous, and I was definitely sleep deprived because I didn't take time off my everyday job, but yeah, I think it stretched me in a way that also reminded me that I can do anything if I decide that that's what I want to do. So that's what I've been up to, and to be very frank, I cannot envision how I could have brought videos to you in that time. I just don't know. My time management skills have definitely improved as a result of that intense week. But yeah, I think that it is what it is. This video is coming when it's coming, and I'm learning to forgive myself and to be okay with being late with things and just accepting that it's part of this process. I am, as I've said before, working on creating content at different times so that I can be recording stuff and then sharing it, you know, scheduling it. But the one thing where I made a mistake was that during the time of the most intense workload that I had was the time of the announcement of the giveaway, which was a real-time thing. So the timing wasn't great, but it's fine. We live and we learn. And I'm excited about the future of this channel. I feel so much more empowered about the importance of sharing books by Black, Indigenous, people of color from all over the world, and the importance and the need for that people are looking. There are people out there who are looking for this content, people who are looking to dive deeper into learning about different people's perspectives, yes, through books, but also reading works by people that they are not surrounded by all the time, you know. And that's what I use books for myself. There's a lot of people whose books I read who are from a totally different culture to mine, or have a totally different perspective to mine, or a different background, different lived experience. And I just enjoy the power of how books can drop you into that experience and share a perspective in a way that you just can't in other ways. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share. Very low-key, chill vibes. I'm wearing this outfit. I'm so in love with velvet, and it's like what's this, turtleneck, and I'm also just feeling my hair, which is so rare. I'm usually just like put a hat on or tukunyana or a scarf or something and just get it out of the way, but I'm just enjoying the little coils, you know, so much. So cute, so beautiful, so strong, and yeah, keeping my little head warm, my little Beetlejuice head warm. Anyway, yeah, that's all I came to share. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting the channel. And I hope you get something from my talks, my rambling, my sharing of my perspectives. But yeah, thank you. And I hope you have a beautiful day further.